Jared, known as the Kid Against Chemo for his popular social media following, which resulted from his brave stand against harmful conventional treatments, tells his story of how his first news of cancer was a death sentence to him, being told that there was only one option for him, and if he didn't comply, that he would die, and his death would be excruciating. This is how he conquered.
I didn't really know too much about cancer or chemo, and I didn't think that there was much of a cure for cancer. So I thought cancer pretty much just meant death right on the spot. I did one full cycle of chemo, and then all the side effects were just so severe. I had really bad mouth sores throughout my whole GI system. I had really bad bone pain. I couldn't stand, I couldn't walk. My parents had to help me walk to the bathroom and back. Eventually I just felt in my heart and soul that I was gonna die in the next round because like all those side effects were killing me.
So you decided not to do any more chemo, and what did you do at the point? You said, I'm not going to do chemo, but I am going to do this. What did you decide to do for your cancer at that point?
I just decided to do all alternative methods, from vitamins, supplements, the infrared sauna, eating all organic, juicing all raw vegetables.
Okay. Sounds kind of like Chris' work.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what Chris did.
Exactly.
So you're about a year out now. How are you feeling?
I feel great. The last blood test we took, all my cancer markers were normal.
Okay.
All my blood tests were normal, and everything was just normal and great.
I want to share with you a story from Jill Schneider, who, when diagnosed with cancer that was told she must immediately commence on what she understood to be an extremely toxic and harmful treatment, she chose another direction. She chose to do something entirely different.
I just looked at the doctor and I said, I think this is something that I need to do some research on and begin a program of nutrition. And he looked at me as though I was completely off the wall, and he slammed the door in my face. And I just walked out of the doctor's office, and I knew I never wanted to see that person again. That evening, I had to perform. I'm a singer, songwriter, guitarist on a radio station. From the time I had the appointment and found out that I had malignant cervical cancer until I sang that night, because I knew I couldn't sing if I had fear. Gave it up. Gave up all the fear. What point would it have in my life at that moment? And shortly after that, I quit a job. It was very stressful. I knew I had to leave the country just to have the time to take care of myself. So a month later, after a month of acupuncture and herbs, it had already gone, I had another test, it had already gone to a number 3. I said, I'm clear. This is a piece of cake. I'm off to South America. I'm going to hang out in the jungle for a while and then go down to Peru and do some hiking, Machu Picchu, 1975.
So you already saw progress within a month.
Yeah.
And then you left?
Yeah, then I left to go and really, have a real health vacation. I went to hot springs, I hiked in the mountains, I ate their food, I lived. So immediately, as soon as I got home, I was responsible. I went to the doctor, and it went from a 5 to a 1 in 5 months. And 2.5 years later, I had a child, and now I'm a grandmother of 2 little girls.
Wow. Congratulations. Seeing Jill smile and laugh like that puts a huge smile on my face and gives me so much joy. I feel happiness for her, but the thing that I really feel the most happy about is that no matter what your situation is, whether you've been faced with a critical diagnosis or you simply don't want to live in fear of cancer, you can do the same thing. A seemingly dreadful diagnosis can actually be a wonderful wake-up call and allow you, like Jill, to really focus on what's important and look after and care for yourself so that you can experience the joy of long-lasting health and happiness. Throughout this docuseries, hopefully you have come to realize that 95% of cancers have no genetic link and can be turned around with a multitude of advanced cancer protocols. This fact alone can put a lot of control back into your hands so that you do not feel at the whim of cancer's dreaded strike. But what about the other 5%? What if your cancer actually is genetic and has no cure from conventional medicine? Is this an area where even practitioners who use a natural or non-toxic approach offer no assistance? I can tell you right now that people are dying without hope today from this very issue. This is exactly the boat that Chris Peterson found herself in when she was diagnosed with a rare genetic form of colon cancer. We pick up her story after she had dozens of precancerous and cancerous polyps removed from her colon when she was still in the thick of the battle, fighting for her life.
And in March 2009, my husband brought home a book that I read cover to cover, and it was Vern Verona's Nature's Cancer Fighting Foods. And I embraced everything in that book. And the next day, after I had my cry pity party, I can't do this, so I changed my diet. The next day, I'm very disciplined. I got that from my dad, very disciplined. So I stuck with it, and just all kinds of vegetables. I'd cut up vegetables, and I'd make my own dressing. And, you know, I didn't have lettuce in it either. I mean, I would just cut up a variety of vegetables and eat those. And that was my main meal, my main thing. And then I would juice and blend those and
so
do
you're
all the
getting
different things.
serious nutrition.
I was getting serious nutrition. I also added some, very few, but a few supplements and an herbal combination, B17, I took that. So I took these things and then went through those, still removing the polyps, but a year onto my whole diet, big regimented change, I had 0 polyps.
Wow. What's your message to cancer patients that may have been told they have some kind of a genetic cancer? What is your message that you want them to take away from this interview?
Well, I tell friends of mine who complain about, well, you know, the genes in my family, and I just shake them up and say, look at me, look what I did, and you can do it too. You just have to make some changes in your life.
Wow. Can you now see that even genetic cancers can be turned around with epigenetic influences such as diet and nutrition? What a tremendous encouragement for you and for me, and a powerful reminder of the truth that cancer is not a death sentence.
I immediately began a program that involved spiritual, mental, and physical health. And I want to be very clear, spiritual was first. And I did end up really attacking my diet. For the first few weeks, I was on an all raw diet. Okay. I postponed the Boston trip. I did go. I wanted to be responsible. So 40 days, I went to my team at Garden of Life, and I told them what had happened to me. They were freaked out. I said, listen, God has already paid the price for me. I am healed. You're going to see it, but I need to step away from work. 6 weeks, you won't hear from me. No emails, no texts. And for me, Ty, that's a miracle if I can go 30 minutes without that, much less 6 weeks. And I did the opposite of what most cancer patients do. You see, cancer patients go and basically submit themselves to the convention. And it's easy. Well, what do you mean it's easy? You have side effects and hair loss. No, it's easy because you let someone else tell you what to do. You let somebody else tell you how your side effects are going to go, what's going to happen, what your outcome's going to be, what your prognosis is. They can do radiation, chemotherapy, and surgery, but they're doing it. You don't have to think for yourself. There's no individuality. You're just a number.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 44 years old. Didn't know a single person living with cancer. And I, of course, got a professional diagnosis, had a lumpectomy before I even knew my name. When I woke up from that and found out that the doctor had removed 18 lymph nodes from my left arm without my express or informed consent, I just felt really uncomfortable with the way they were doing it. And they had told me on a Thursday that they had an opening for surgery on Monday, which I understood to mean, uh-oh, you have the worst cancer in the universe. And I didn't know that that's what they did with all women or men with breast cancer, rush us into treatment. So I saw an oncologist, and the oncologist said to me as I walked in, oh, we'll start you on chemo next week. And I said, doc, I have a problem. And he said immediately, oh, it doesn't matter. And I said, no, I just have to tell you what it is. I'm chemically sensitive. I respond badly to every kind of cleaning product, anything people are wearing on their neck or their hair, their laundry detergent, everything's bothering me. Wet paint will cause me to fall to the ground. And he said, oh, it doesn't matter. I said, oh, goodbye, doc.
You're still going to do it.
Have to go. It was great. I walked out and I decided that's not for me. And I started to explore what else I could do. And I was astonished.
You fired your doctor at that point.
Exactly. It probably would have fired me, but he was an idiot. I mean, it doesn't matter. It was my life. It mattered to me. And I met a Chinese herbalist at the San Antonio Breast Cancer Symposium in 1998 in December. And he said, I think I can help you. So by April of the next year, I said, I need help. And I went to see him. And in the first prescription that he gave me, I made a tea. When I drank that tea, my entire body turned into a hive, a giant hive, every inch. So of course that was scary. But 3 days later, I realized my chemical sensitivity symptoms had completely changed, and the intensity had reduced by about 65%. So now I have a normal life. I can function like everyone else. I'm not going to pass out if you were wearing fragrance 40 feet away from me, which was what my life was like. And in addition to that, over time, I never got any more tumors. And I'd had an MRI when I started the herbs because I wanted to prove something. And at the end of the time, I had another MRI, and by then I was completely proven cancer-free. That was September 2001. And my doctor came from New Jersey, and she said to me, we can't find anything in cancer. We're going to call you no discernible disease. So they didn't give me NED, which is the usual diagnosis, because I didn't do chemo, I didn't do radiation. We don't know how you're really doing. I knew how I was doing. I was going to live.
This is the true story of Dr. Robert Gorder, who was diagnosed with terminal testicular cancer and given only 6 months to live.
I'm originally from Holland, Amsterdam, where I did my medical training. And then I did extra training in oncology in an anthroposophical hospital in Basel, in Switzerland. And then I started my own clinic. But almost on day number 1, I was diagnosed myself with already far advanced called germ cell carcinoma. So they usually start from in women from an ovary or men from a testicle, and they grow very, very fast. And so when I was diagnosed, they said, well, 3 months, with some luck, maximum 6 months. And we do a chemo, do this, we do that. I said, no. Because I knew as a doctor what I would go through. And I thought, well, even if it's true that I live 6 weeks longer, but on the blood of others, I'm not afraid of death, and then I rather die than statistically a few weeks earlier. But of course, so they were all said I was crazy. But I thought, no, there are other options. So like I also had already this idea, the root of cancer is in an immune suppression. So I should improve immune function. So I did. So I treated myself with mistletoe, Viscum alba, mistletoe injection. I did hypothermia, so I went in a hot water bath, so my temperature was up to 40 degrees, and I did a few things, and yeah, remarkably, I got better and better, and probably in about a year and a half later, I was free of cancer. Everything was, nothing could be found. So, and also I was perfectly back in order. So,
how many years ago was this? What year was
43 years ago.
43 years ago. Did you ever go back to see the doctors that told you you were crazy?
No, because they all had died by now. They were.
Dr. Veronique was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she treated it and beat it.
You know, as a woman, it was so shocking for me because I was the one that was helping my patients get well and reversing all these various diseases in my practice. And so when I discovered that I had breast cancer, it was really a blow to my ego, for one, and it was also a big wake-up call for me. You know, cancer is not the disease itself. It's just the tip of the iceberg that shows you that there's so many underlying things, because you have to be sick in order to develop cancer. You know, you don't get cancer and then you're sick. Your body's already sick and it's compromised. Your immune system's weak. You're toxic. You're stressed out. And that's how cancer develops. And, you know, so it's displacing that myth and that fear that cancer is just something that gets you. It's something that develops over a period of time, and you're not a victim of it. You have a lot of control over it. So one of the reasons that I'm doing the work that I'm doing is because there's so much information out there, and where does one person start? Because, you know, do I, detox first? Do I do this? Do I do that? You know, what herbs do I take? So I developed a program. It's a 7-step program called the 7 Essentials, and it's so simple that anybody can apply it. So the first one is essential number 1. You know, let food be your medicine. We know that food has a huge impact on our genetic expression. We know that it can, literally turn on specific cancer protective genes. You know, we know that through the science of epigenetics and nutrigenomics. Number 2 is to detox, reduce your toxic exposure. We live in a toxic world, we can't deny that, but there are things that you can do specifically to help support the detoxification pathways in your body and to prevent all the toxins from entering into your body. Essential number 3 is to balance your energy. You know, we're energetic beings, and so what can you do to keep that electricity and that energy flowing properly? Chiropractic care, acupuncture, exercise, proper sleep, making sure that your hormones are balanced, because hormones are very key in so many hormone-driven cancers. Essential number 4 is to heal your emotional wounds. You know, learn to nurture yourself and to love yourself, to forgive yourself and others. Manage your stress better. You know, let go of the past, because those things, you know, if you keep stuffing those emotions inside, are going to grow a tumor. You either grow your life or you grow a tumor. You know, so you have to change that emotional component. Essential number 5 is to look at biological dentistry, because your teeth have a huge impact on your health. Your teeth are connected to your organs through your meridian system. What you have in your teeth affects your health, because if you have toxic amalgams in there, it's causing toxicity in the body. And then we look at essential number 6, which is, you know, there are specific herbs and supplements and vitamins that can really reduce your toxic load, that can help heal the cancer, actually kill cancer cells, and boost your immune system. Okay, and lastly is essential number 7 in really practicing true prevention. Traditional medicine, unfortunately, does not really teach prevention and does not know about prevention. There are many ways and different technologies that can detect cancer when it's at, you know, the size of a pinhead, instead of, you know, waiting until it's the size of a lump or a bump that you can detect on an X-ray or on a mammogram. Thermography, for example, can read the physiological changes that are going on in the body. There are specific blood tests, like the cancer profile, which measures the HCG hormones, the PHI, which is a malignancy hormone, TK1 enzyme, the oncoblot test, which can also determine, you know, cancer when it's just the size of a pinhead in the body. That's true prevention. And so if you can stay on top of your health by monitoring and not just guessing about your health, but making sure that you're moving in the right direction, there's no reason to fear cancer.
So the big C word is never a death sentence. There's always a path. There's always a path. Some people are living with cancer as a chronic illness, right? So that's fine. It's the same as living with diabetes or high blood pressure or high cholesterol. If we can manage it and keep it at a microscopic level, you carry on with your life. It is not a death sentence.
I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining us these last 9 days to watch The Truth About Cancer, A Global Quest. This is the culmination of a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. This is our gift to you. We hope that you've enjoyed it. Thanks for joining us. God bless all of you.